Welcome back to another episode of Josh and Kristie Stealing the Internet. I'm Kristie.
And I'm Josh. We've got some more great Reddit stories for you today, so let's jump into the first one.
Am I the asshole for only doing the bare minimum when I got roped into babysitting?
I mean, just from that title, it kind of sounds like maybe you got tricked into babysitting, so I can't blame you for not doing any more than the minimum.
My sister, 38, invited me over for a family meal. Our parents were there too. After dinner, my mom and I helped clean up while my dad and brother-in-law watched my nieces and nephew. Afterwards, my parents left. Then my sister and brother-in-law asked me if I could watch the kids for an hour while they went out for a quick errand. I agreed. They got very dressed up for errands, but I didn't ask. They've done this before. I didn't usually have anything going on, so I don't really mind. Today, I was clear that I had plans, and 1 hour was my limit.
So you're saying they regularly say we're going to go do errands, get dressed to the nines, and then disappear for a long time?
My sister agreed to 1 hour. After an hour, I called, and she didn't answer. Half an hour later, I texted my friends and said I couldn't make it. Then I proceeded to keep the kids alive. I felt I owed her that as family.
That is fair. You owe your nieces and nephews that as family.
Did I put them to sleep? Nope. Did I make them a snack rather than let them use the stove? Yes. Did I keep the little one from drawing on the walls while his older brother played Fortnite and the middle kid watched Stranger Things with me? Nope. I kept them alive.
Wow, you even let them draw on the walls. You were making a stand.
My sister got home a little after 1 a.m. Nephew was still playing Fortnite. Middle kid and I were still binging Stranger Things. Little one was passed out on their bed. I got up and left. I've been hearing about it for a few days now about how irresponsible I am. That 12 is too young for such a scary show. That my nephew had limited screen time. That they still haven't gotten the drawings off the walls. My parents are getting involved as well. I really don't care. I was told 1 hour. I agreed to 1 hour. I feel that I did a great job for 1 hour. Not really my problem after that.
Sorry, how long were they gone?
She never gives an exact time, but they didn't get home until 1 a.m. So they had dinner, cleaned up, they got ready for their secret date that was errands, and then left until 1. That seems like a long time.
Yeah, you gotta run all those midnight errands.
So 4 people think I'm being an asshole, 3 kids had a great night, and I think they won't try it again. Am I the asshole?
No, it sounds like you weren't the asshole here. Your sister disappeared for a surprise date and kind of left you holding the bag. You can't just ditch your nieces and nephews. You gotta, like you said, keep them alive, and you did the responsible thing and canceled your plans with your friends. Your sister did not do the responsible thing and actually ask you if you were willing to babysit for that long.
I can't get over that she didn't even answer the phone when she called. When you have someone babysitting your kids, you have that phone ringer volume up and you answer when they call you, because what if it's an emergency with your kids?
Yeah, right? And it's not your fault that she raised a little goblin that draws all over the walls and then passes out in someone else's bed.
I have to say that is peak youngest child behavior.
Yeah, and I would also say that if you're going to leave your kids with your sibling, even for a planned amount of babysitting, they're going to get more screen time than you want them to.
Yeah, the easiest thing to do when you are babysitting is plop them in front of a TV or a screen.
Especially when they have you outnumbered 3-1.
Yeah, some of them need to be in front of the screen or you can't keep track of all of them.
Not at that age range. Like, if they were all similar aged, you might be able to be like, let's do something together, but it sounds like they're very spaced out.
Yeah, oldest one playing Fortnite and youngest one scribbling on the walls. That's a big age difference.
So yeah, the house didn't burn down. All 3 survived the night. You did a good job.
A successful babysitting adventure. Okay, my favorite comment. NTA, your sister knew what she was doing. She just doesn't like the consequences of her actions. OP replies, she's done it before. I knew exactly what she was doing. But this time she was like, seriously, 1 hour limit, guys. And they still didn't listen.
Yeah, that's the worst part of the story right there. You set a hard time and like, hey, I have things to do, and they just disregarded your plans. Like, it does not matter the scenario. Anytime you tell somebody, hey, I need to leave on our agreed upon time, and they ignore your request, it's just the biggest asshole behavior. I don't care if you're at a job. I don't care if you're babysitting. They're always the asshole when they make you miss appointments.
Another comment I like. Did you let them try coffee? No. Did you give them lots of sugary snacks? No. Fool, you could have really fucked with your sister because honestly, fuck her. The parenting equivalent of a dine and dash, and she's getting off light with vaguely looked after kids. A proper sibling would do the lesser retort of giving her child a drum for Christmas. And now you've been hearing about how irresponsible you are for the past few days? Oh dear, that's so sad. I guess you don't ever want me to look after your kids again. Not ever. Never, never, ever, ever.
Right? What kind of consequences can sister give you? You're not allowed to babysit anymore. Oh no.
Yeah, maybe just be like, yeah, I'll babysit again, but I mean, this kid might draw on the walls. If that's okay with you, sure, I'll babysit.
Next time you turn up to babysit, show up with like a pocket full of permanent markers.
Yes.
And just set a timer quietly on the counter.
A can of paint.
Honestly, you'd be a good influence on the little one. You're encouraging their artistic talents.
Also, I do have to say, occasionally on Reddit, you hear one of these stories where parents did not come back when they told the babysitter they would, and it's like hours later. And people are like, why didn't you just call the cops and tell them that the kids were abandoned?
That's a little extreme for your nieces and nephews.
Yes, and I'm saying I get why she didn't do that, because family, that is something you cannot take back. But I feel like that would have been drastic. This response of just vaguely watching the kids seems reasonable. And your sister got off light.
Am I the asshole for canceling my mom's birthday dinner and taking her out to eat without my brothers?
I think that entirely depends on what your mom thinks of that. It's her birthday.
I'm having a mild panic attack because I acted out of frustration and don't know if that makes me an asshole in this situation or not. My mom's birthday was last week. My family, myself, 3 younger brothers, their significant others, and my mother made plans to do dinner at my mom's place tonight. I planned to buy and cook all the food and the cake, and then my brothers and I were going to go in on a big gift for my mom. We've been planning this for weeks. I've been busy with work, so I wasn't able to go get the gift earlier this week, but texted my brothers in a group chat today and sent a screenshot of the gift. Let them know I was going to pick it up, reminded them of the dinner time, and asked them to send me their share of the money.
Okay, it sounds like OP is doing all the work for her mom's birthday for her brothers. She's cooking dinner, she's getting the cake, she's getting the present, and just letting them know when to show up. That doesn't seem fair.
She's that type of big sister, yes. The one that does everything, and the brothers just show up. All of them chose to inform me they didn't have money to pitch in, which normally doesn't bother me. I understand that the world is rough right now, and everything is expensive. I'm barely hanging on by a thread most days. I have a degree and work an emotionally draining job during the week, and have a second side gig that I work literally every day. I know how hard it is to just survive, but I've been busting my ass all week to make sure I had the money to do this for my mom.
My only concern is did you let your brothers know ahead of time, hey, this is the gift I would like to get mom, and I would like you guys to chip in this much if you want in on the gift? Because I feel like you can't just spring this gift on your brothers and like it's a surprise. They need to know how much money they need to chip in ahead of time so they can plan and save for it.
She does say in the first paragraph, we've been planning this for weeks.
Okay.
So at least a month, probably?
Okay, in that case, the brothers suddenly this week being like, we don't have the money for that. That's not cool.
She goes all out for us on our birthdays and Christmas and literally every other day of the year. I made sure to fully plan this out way in advance so my brothers could save the money for the gift and literally didn't have to do anything else but show up for dinner with our mother.
Okay, yeah, then it sounds like she did everything right. And actually, like, more than right, because she's putting in way more effort than her brothers are. But she did let them know the plan ahead of time, and they could have objected then.
Yeah, that's a good point. They could have objected way before 1 week in advance.
Yeah, because now she's got to scramble and try and find a gift that's in her personal budget and not include her brothers in that.
So, when they all just sounded super nonchalant about not having the money to chip in and kind of like they just expected me to take care of everything, I lost it a little. I called my mom, didn't tell her why because I didn't want to hurt her feelings, though I'm sure she figured it out, and asked if she'd like to go to her favorite restaurant for dinner, on me, of course. She sounded excited about that. I texted the boys and told them I was taking her to dinner instead, and they could come if they wanted to. They were all pretty pissed about it because they don't have the money to go. I did tell them I was picking up cake after dinner and they could meet me at Mom's to do the cake and see her, though that didn't seem to help much.
Well, no, because now they know that they're going to look like the asshole sons when sister has taken their mom to dinner and gotten her a present and a cake and they show up with nothing. I can't believe they didn't even have money to go out for dinner and not even pay for their mom, just pay for themselves.
Maybe they can make her like some macaroni art.
I kind of feel like at that point this might be an improvement, but
I still plan to go pick the gift up, but I'm not putting their names on it, which I feel petty about. But I'm just tired of this happening every time we do something for her.
That is not petty. They're not contributing. They don't get their names on it. They don't get any credit.
They always seem to have money and ideas for my dad. I feel like they take our mom for granted, and I'm always picking up the slack, so she thinks all of us were in on whatever it was I planned. Am I the asshole? Should I have just carried on with the original plan?
Okay, that really bothers me that the sons will do stuff for their dad's birthday, but not their mom's. Like, I thought maybe they were just lazy, good-for-nothing sons, But no, they're good sons when it comes to their dad. They just don't seem to like their mom or appreciate her.
Yeah, especially because sister's doing all the legwork, so they can't even give an excuse like, I don't really know what mom wants for her birthday. You just had to throw money at the problem.
Yeah, they had it easy and they really fumbled it.
Top comment, this is better. She gets to go out to eat and spend time with her daughter.
Yeah, we don't want to spend time with those stinky sons anyways.
Also, why should your brothers get credit they had no part in? If your mom doesn't already know, it's time she found out.
Okay, but it is going to hurt mom's feelings, and I can kind of see wanting to save her from that hurt. So I get why sister has been doing this for years, but at some point you got to call it and be like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, there's got to be a line, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially because it sounds like they're not even appreciative of it. Like, they're not even saying thanks for doing all the legwork.
No, they're not. They're mad. I don't have that kind of money. Why are you buying mom such an expensive gift? She's not worth that.
But even after they're like, I don't have the money, they still kind of sounded ungrateful.
They're not even showing up for cake. Who wouldn't show up for free cake?
Exactly. If you're going to throw the financial burden all on your sister, you could at least be nice about it.
Mm-hmm. They actually sound kind of resentful that their sister is even bringing up their mom's birthday. They're like, oh, can't we just forget about it this year?
Also, OP shouldn't be paying for all the food to feed her 3 brothers and presumably their significant others as well. From now on, buy your own individual gift for your mom. Take her out to eat yourself and only pay for yourself and your mom. Everyone else can buy their own gifts. Everyone else can put in the effort to celebrate your mom themselves. It's not your job to pick up the slack for them. They didn't bother saving because they thought you would take care of it for them. I'm guessing you always have. Did your parents raise you and your brothers to believe the women are the planners and party hosts, and the men just show up, eat, and leave? If so, stop that cycle. Another comment, not the asshole. Don't ever feel guilty for someone else having to deal with the consequences of their own actions. They chose not to act like responsible adults when it came to their mom's birthday, and now they have to deal with the consequences of that.
I just don't know what consequences there are going to be except mom being hurt that her sons don't care about her.
I think that's the consequence, yes.
Which does not seem fair to mom, but you cannot keep covering for your brothers.
All right, and there is an update.
Oh, okay.
Hi, everyone. First, thank you all for the comments. I super appreciated each of you taking the time to respond. Some of it was for sure tough to read, but I think I needed to hear it. Second, this is a real lengthy update, but after so many comments, I figured I should give it. My mom and I had an amazing day yesterday. We went shopping, went to dinner, and I gave her the gift I got her. The woman almost did cartwheels out of the restaurant. It was just a pink KitchenAid stand-up mixer. She's wanted one forever. And
just a KitchenAid mixer? Those things are pricey.
That is a nice gift to get for your birthday, yeah.
Yeah.
She's wanted one forever and would never buy it for herself. Seeing her so excited made all of this totally worth it. Update on my brothers, they pooled their 3 brain cells together by the end of the day and realized why I was so upset. They ended up apologizing and promising not to let it happen again, which I appreciate, but did let them know my boundaries going forward. I plan to make this a tradition with my mom, and they're always invited to attend the dinner. But I won't be getting my hopes up for them going in on a bigger gift, nor will I rely on them to do so. I encourage them to each get a gift for my mom on their own. They can do with that what they will, but I know where I stand.
That is a good boundary to have. I'm proud of OP for standing up for herself.
They all did come over to her house afterward for the cake. My mom definitely has bougie taste in baked goods, so the cake I got was fairly expensive, but still totally worth it to see her so excited. The boys said they were going to send me money to pitch in for the cake when they get paid next week. Whether or not they actually will, I'm not sure, but I guess we'll see. I had already planned to do that on my own, so I'm not real pressed about them sending the money for that. It would be nice, but I'm not holding my breath. My mom loved the cake and loved that all her kids, grandkids, and daughter-in-laws came together to sing happy birthday and hang out with her for a couple hours.
Okay, that's nice. I'm glad the brothers did show up to the party for the cake for their mom.
Yeah, they would have been really big assholes if they didn't even turn up for the party. I wanted to answer some frequently asked questions too. I am a woman and the oldest of the siblings. I'm 31. My 3 brothers are all grown, ranging in age from 23 to 29. My dad didn't know any of this was happening, mainly because him and mom are no longer married. They've been divorced since I was 16. Though I should have called him to let him know, he does not mess around about my mom and gives a very good pull your head out of your ass speech.
Okay, he would have laid into his sons for not treating their mom right, even though he's divorced from her.
That is good. Still co-parenting, even though the kids are all over 23.
Yeah. Some kids need parenting well past that age.
This has happened a few times in the past, as in them not putting in nearly as much effort as I have, or none for some of them. And I just go through with it anyway for my mom. But that's not happening again. Took me 31 years to set these boundaries with my brothers, but those boundaries are permanent going forward. I'm usually the one to plan birthdays or other special occasions outside of major holidays. My parents always plan the big holidays together. They're divorced, but we still do things like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, and Halloween together as a family. I've been fairly blessed with parents who are divorced but are still really good friends.
That is really nice to hear. You don't hear about that often.
Yeah, it is nice that mom and dad are not just civil, but can get along with each other still. My brothers always have more input on my dad because they do know him better, I think. I'm close to both my parents, but my mom is definitely my best friend. We see each other multiple times a week just to do random stuff like go to Walmart together or whatever. We also live fairly close to each other, which makes this possible. All of my brothers work with my dad every day, so they do talk all the time. Although I feel like this shouldn't be an excuse not to have at least one idea. My mom gets excited about any amount of effort from anyone in her life. They could gift her a picture of her with her grandkids in a nice frame and she would cry for a week. Like, it doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to show you thought about her. I just wanted to do this big gift because she's been staring at this damn mixer for 2 years now, talking about how much she wants it, but she will never buy something expensive for herself. She deserves it. Thank you all again. I needed the tough love. I've been coddling my brothers since they were born, and that's my fault. As the oldest and a very type A personality, I have always felt responsible for everyone in my family. I'm slowly learning that's not helpful to them or myself.
Okay, lessons were learned. That's good.
Yeah, there is a glimmer of hope going forward that the brothers will pull their heads out of their asses, like Dad would say.
Hey, if you're enjoying this episode so far, go ahead and do us a favor and hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, we really appreciate your support, and it lets us know that we should keep making fun content like this for you.
Am I the asshole for keeping a collection of Magic the Gathering cards that were wrongly gifted to me?
I guess that depends a lot on circumstances, because a collection of Magic the Gathering cards can get very expensive very fast.
Early December, a coworker asked me if I wanted Magic the Gathering cards her husband wanted to get rid of. I accepted and ended up with 5 briefcases full of cards. Going through the cards, I found that there were a lot, and I mean a lot, of cards ranging from anywhere between $15 and $80. I thought it was a little weird that her husband would just gift away that many expensive cards, so I texted my coworker to ask if she was sure that her husband was giving everything to me.
Yeah, somebody who has a collection that big definitely knows how expensive those cards are. Or at least they should.
Her response was, yes, he is sure. He doesn't play with them anymore. Enjoy. So I kept the cards to build a deck, traded some, and sold a bunch of them at my local card shop for a couple of $100.
Oh, only a couple hundred? It's not as many expensive cards as I thought then.
Well, maybe he kept the good ones for his deck and then just sold some of the like $15 ones.
I guess so. When they said 5 briefcases and they're ranging in price from 15 to 80, I assumed he was going to get thousands.
Yeah, me too. But no, a few $100, you know? Fast forward to yesterday, coworker came to me during lunch to ask if I can give her back all the cards. Turns out that she didn't ask her husband at all before giving everything to me, and he's extremely pissed about it.
Oh no, she just decided to give away a man's trading card collection?
He doesn't play that game anymore. I'm just going to give these away. They're taking up space.
You don't touch a man's trading card collection.
I told her that I could give back the cards I still own, but I've traded and sold a lot of them, and I didn't have them anymore. She got pretty desperate when I told her that, and then asked if I could also give her, in addition to the collection I still own, the money so her husband can buy the cards I traded and sold again.
I have to admit, if somebody gave me their collection, I don't think I would ever tell them that I sold a chunk of it for profit.
Well, if they're asking for it back, you've got to be like, I don't have some of them.
I gifted them to my nephew. And then he suddenly disappeared, and we haven't seen him since. I no longer have a nephew. I can't ask for them back.
Wow, you're going extreme there.
Never admit that something somebody gave you for free was worth enough money to sell.
I told her that I thought I was already pretty nice to give back some of her husband's collection, but it's too late for the cards I've traded or sold, and I'm keeping the money. So it's either that or I'm keeping everything.
It always baffles me that there are still people out there who don't realize that, like, Pokemon and Magic cards are worth money.
I mean, if you're not in that world, maybe you're just like, this is a bunch of garbage.
Why are there just briefcases of cardboard in my closet? I could store shirts in here.
Shoes. You can store shoes in there, Josh. That's what ladies like. She got very mad, and when she started yelling at me to give everything, money included, back to fix this, I told her that's her problem, and she stormed off. She didn't talk to me since, and I still have the cards. Am I the asshole?
I feel like I want to go not the asshole on this one. You did offer to give them back. But when you offered to give them back, I might have been borderline asshole behavior not to say, hey, some of these are worth a bit of money.
Okay, there is an edit, and he does address that in his edit. Just to clarify some things, I did tell my coworker that they were valuable cards in her husband's collection when I texted her to reconfirm. The collection was gifted, wasn't just valuable cards. The majority of the cards were pretty cheap, like under $1. It's just that with the number of cards given, the number of valuable cards grow pretty quickly.
Oh, well, in that case, then you're not the asshole. I was assuming that you were treating this like you scored really good at a garage sale and got like, wow, I got this like full art card that's worth $100. Sucks for that garage sale person. This is somebody you know in person. Personally, I would be a little more understanding if she doesn't know how much the cards are worth.
Yeah, you don't want to swindle your friends, but he did let her know, and she was like, yeah, no, it's totally fine. They're yours. And then at that point, I feel like you're not the asshole for going ahead and selling some of them and stuff.
Yeah, and he only made a few $100 profit. So it sounds to me like there were just a few good cards mixed in amongst these 5 briefcases. There wasn't anything crazy, because a good Magic card goes for a few thousand, right? It's not like
a really good one, yeah.
Yeah, like a really good one. And the just kind of good ones are a few hundred on their own. So it's not like he got anything insane.
I don't know. I feel like he's a little bit the asshole, and he should give the cards back, because I feel so bad for this husband. Like, his wife is a total asshole just getting rid of his card collection, and I feel so bad for him. I would give back the cards that I had, even if his wife was being an a-hole.
Yeah, but he offered to give them back, didn't he?
Yeah, and she demanded the money he got from the cards, and he said no to that. And I do kind of get that. Like, he probably put a good amount of time into sorting these cards out and picking out the good ones and then taking them to the card store and selling them. Like, I kind of get that. Like, hey, I put time and effort into this. I don't want to give you that money.
Yeah, right. If he only made a few $100s, that's just his time and effort money. I almost feel like she's not entitled to that money. But yeah, like he said, he offered to give the cards back, and she pushed for more, which makes her the asshole in my opinion, especially because she's given away her husband's stuff without telling him. I think OP is pretty safely not the asshole in this one, personally.
Top comment. You're NTA, but damn, I feel for the husband here. Just try to imagine yourself in his place. Someone close to you gave away your belongings and can't get them back. Like, you're under no obligation to return the cards and money, but it really sucks for him, so keep that in mind.
That's why I think that give back the cards but keep the money. If it was thousands of dollars you made off these cards, I might say, hey, maybe you should split it with the poor guy. But a few hundred, I think that was your time and effort to sort through all of these cards and know which ones are worth selling.
Another comment, NTA. This sucks though, and depending on what lies she's telling, he might end up filing a police report. If you have texts or emails about this, save them. Don't chat about it on the phone or in person any longer. Make her put what she has to say in writing. Don't worry, you're good, but until her lies are revealed, this could get annoying. Because, yeah, I think if he files it as stolen goods and stuff, I mean, his wife would get charged with stealing them and giving them away, I think, but he would also get his cards back.
I mean, hopefully for OP's sake, this man is not ready to burn his own marriage over a few cases of Magic the Gathering cards.
I mean, I don't know if I'd be willing to burn my marriage over a few cases of Magic the Gathering cards, but it's about the disrespect of her giving away my possessions without asking me. I would divorce over that.
Oh, it's a huge slap in the face. I would be mad about it, certainly. depending on how malicious my wife was when she gave it away.
And how remorseful, yeah.
Then we'll talk about further consequences. But I'm certainly very mad.
How would you feel if I gave away your entire amiibo collection because I decided I just don't like them hanging out in the living room? They're ugly.
I feel like I would be rather mad that you didn't give me the chance to store them somewhere else.
Nope, I don't want them in my house. Get them out. They're taking up too much space. But don't touch my precious books. They're mine and they stay.
That is kind of what she sounds like, right? She's just giving away his stuff, but not her own stuff. It's never good to decide you need to downsize and start throwing away only your spouse's stuff.
Yeah, that's really not cool. Anyways, OP says that he has text about this. They talked on Messenger when he tried to confirm that she was sure her husband was giving everything to me, so he does have it in writing. And then in an edit, he says, I've read a lot of comments about keeping stolen goods for myself. I'm willing to give back the rest of the cards I have to her husband, but my coworker is the only way I have to give it back to him. And she's mad and yelled at him.
It sounds like she just needs to accept the cards that he did offer to give back to her. I really don't think she's entitled to that money. That's just her penalty for giving away her husband's stuff.
Okay, he does have a final edit. I have managed to speak to my coworker's husband via Messenger and showed him the screenshot of my discussion I had with her, telling her about the value of some of the cards and if she was sure he was okay with giving me everything. We're going to meet tomorrow so I can give him back what I have left of his collection. About the cards I've sold or traded, he told me not to worry about it and to keep everything because what's done is done. He did ask me, though, how much money I made by selling some of his cards because he fully intends to make my coworker pay him back the same amount of money I made, which is about $500.
Oh, I mean, $500 is like a recoverable amount. I feel like I'd be willing to lose $500 after my wife made a mistake like this. Like, somebody selling off your magic cards could hurt way more than $500.
Overall, the dude was pretty chill with me and very thankful to get most of his collection back. Side note, I wouldn't be surprised if my coworker announced next week that her husband has filed for divorce because he made it very clear during our conversation that he was completely done with her.
Oh no, poor coworker. This isn't the first time she's pulled this kind of stuff, huh?
No, I think this is a recurring trend with her.
I have to assume that at some point in the past, she has asked her husband, hey, why don't you get rid of all these stupid cards that are taking up so much space? That's always step one, right?
Yeah, and she didn't listen when he said he wanted to keep them. She's like, this stupid game. This is so stupid and it's taking up closet space.
Yeah, what do you mean these are your precious childhood memories? Trash. Am I the asshole for changing the lock on my bedroom in a shared apartment without my roommate's permission?
It's your bedroom. Your roommate shouldn't be going in there, so why does she care if you got a different lock?
I've been sharing an apartment with another woman for about 3 months now. We didn't know each other well before moving in, but we had a mutual friend. She asked me to move in because her previous roommate was leaving, and at the time I was really struggling to find a place. I had checked a lot of rooms, but either they were too expensive or just didn't feel right. When she offered, I went to see the apartment and agreed pretty quickly.
It is always risky rooming with someone you don't know, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to survive.
Yeah, and sometimes at least having that mutual friend is enough to assure you.
Yeah, like they have a reference from someone you trust.
At the beginning, she was very nice, and honestly, I felt grateful because she helped me when I needed a place. Because of that, I ignored a lot of small things. She would come into my room without asking, lie on my bed, walk around the apartment barefoot, and then sit on my bed with the same feet.
Okay, I can get not wanting other people to lay on your bed, but like walking around the apartment barefoot, that seems normal.
Yeah, I guess OP is a slipper person. She also helped herself to my snacks and used my things.
Nope, that's a nope. Kristie's don't share food.
A couple of times I tried to say it lightly, like joking that I can't sleep if someone sits on my bed, and she would just laugh it off and keep doing it.
She's in there sitting on your bed trying to talk to you while you're trying to sleep?
Kinda sounds like it, doesn't it?
This is weird.
Over time, it started bothering me more. I wasn't trying to fight, so I avoided being harsh, but I began locking my room when I left the apartment. She didn't say anything about that, but when I came back sometimes I had this strong feeling that someone had been in my room. I finally asked her directly if she had a key to my room. She got defensive and said I was being paranoid and imagining things, so I dropped it.
It's not paranoid if it's true.
A few weeks later, when she went out with friends, I asked a friend of mine who does this kind of work to change the lock on my bedroom door. I just wanted to feel safe in my own space. A few days later, while I was at work, she started sending me angry messages saying I changed the lock without her permission.
Ooh, she was sneaking in there.
That I disrespected her, and that building staff had questioned her about it. When I got home, she immediately started yelling, saying she never should have let me move in and that I had no right to make changes.
I wonder if building staff really did yell at her, if she's just using that as an excuse to yell at you.
I told her calmly that it's my room and I changed the lock because I didn't feel safe. She then said she had talked to management and that I had to move out. That didn't sit right with me, so the next day I went to the building office myself. The staff told me she already had complaints against her from previous roommates, including bullying and theft. They also confirmed I was allowed to change the lock on my private room and that I hadn't broken any rules.
Okay, it's nice to get confirmation that you're not in trouble with the apartment building complex. But even if the apartment complex isn't kicking you out, it's time to find a new place. You can't keep living with this crazy lady.
Yeah, once the crazy's inside your house, sometimes you just gotta get out. After that, I officially filed a complaint against her. The very next day, a notice was issued to her. Since then, she hasn't said much to me directly, but the atmosphere in the apartment is very tense. This place works really well for me in terms of price and location, so despite the tension, I feel safer and more at place now that my boundaries are protected. Am I the asshole?
Not the asshole, but you do need to find a new place to live. You can't keep living with this lady. She has stomped all over boundaries that you put in place, like, hey, don't sit on my bed and don't take my snacks and stuff. She lied to you about having a key to your room so she could keep going in there to snoop or take things or whatever. I don't know.
Rub her feet on your pillow.
Or worse. Then got mad when you changed the lock on your room and lied to you about, like, the building maintenance being upset about it. This lady has problems.
And the poor building manager's having to play referee between her and it sounds like several different roommates.
And I get that, yeah, this apartment and its location and everything about it, except this roommate, is great for you. Maybe see if the apartment complex has another open apartment that you could get yourself and try to find a different roommate.
Top comment. Not the asshole. I'm grappling with the fact that she's so angry that she can't violate your space and steal from you. That's positively insane. Along with that lock, I'd get a camera if it's legal as well. Something tells me that Psycho Sticky Fingers might crash out again or retaliate. If she can't get herself together, is it possible that they'll evict her since she's been issued a notice?
Yeah, I feel like getting a camera is a really good idea because I feel like she's going to retaliate in some sort of way or try and break into your room again.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's true for everywhere, but usually it's okay to have a camera inside your own room because that's a private space.
But I do not think the apartment complex is going to be any help in evict her because she's had a lot of complaints before and they didn't do anything. So I don't think you're going to have any luck there.
Especially because it's probably her name on the lease.
Yeah, did they add OP to the lease or is she just like subletting from her roommate?
Somebody asked for more info. What kind of place is this that has building managers that take complaints from one roommate against another? What will happen with your complaint about your roommate?
Sounds like nothing because she's had many complaints before and they've done nothing.
Somebody replied, these are shared apartments where each room is leased individually. They are more frequently found in college towns. Each roommate's their own tenant with their own individual lease, and yes, you can file complaints on the other roommates. Utilities are included in the rent, etc. Which is what I assumed with this situation, because, like, outside of a college town, you generally can't go to the management and be like, my roommate is mean.
Yeah, that is very common in college towns, though.
So yeah, I thought that was good to clarify because the first time I read this story, I just assumed this was college drama.
Am I the asshole because I refused to speak Spanish with a customer after being told it wasn't welcome?
Like the customer told you it wasn't welcome or your manager did? I guess either way, you're not the asshole after they told you not to do it.
I am a part owner of a store that sells suits and rents tuxedos. Obviously, we deal with wedding parties. I was born in Canada, but I am a native Spanish speaker since that is all my family spoke at home. I used to also travel to my parents' home country every summer to stay with my grandparents and visit with the rest of my family. I still go to visit, but just for a week or two. We had a large wedding party come in last weekend. They were renting 6 tuxedos and buying 2 suits. The suits were for the father of the bride and her grandfather. I called over one of the assistants to help me with the large group. Our tuxedos are all made to fit a wide variety of bodies and be temporarily altered for good look. Tammy, my assistant, is awesome and can mark up the alterations no problem. Our suits are for purchase only, and since they can be expensive, I usually take those myself.
Okay, so the tuxes are being rented, but the suits are being purchased?
Yes, and so the suits are more expensive because you're buying them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I noticed that the family was speaking Spanish, and I make it a point to speak Spanish with clients at the beginning to keep them from trying to be private in their conversations and then embarrassing them when they figure it out.
That is very polite of you, honestly. It would be so embarrassing if you were talking bad about the shop owner and then they just talk to you in your native tongue.
You're like, oh no!
I have to leave immediately and I cannot give you my business. I'm so embarrassed.
Long experience has taught me that people don't like that. I greeted them all in English and then again in Spanish. I continued in Spanish to ask them what kind of suits they were looking for. A young woman in the group literally sneered at me and said I didn't have to speak Spanish to them because they all spoke English. I've never encountered this attitude before, so I apologized and continued in English only.
Did she think that you were being condescending, like they don't speak English? It sounds like you weren't trying to be.
No, because he said he greeted them in English and then in Spanish. Like, hey, just so you know, I'm bilingual. Don't go talking bad about me behind my back because I can actually understand you.
Yeah, but then he continued in Spanish, which makes me wonder if he thinks that they don't speak English. Or at least that's what I'm wondering if she thinks, you know?
All was going well until I got to Grandpa. He absolutely did not speak English.
Oh, well then what the hell's she complaining about?
I went to the young woman and asked for her help translating. She was watching her groom getting fitted, so she wasn't busy. She came over and translated everything her grandfather said to me and then back to him. By the end, the old guy looked great in his new suit and she had completely missed the other fittings. She got mad at me for making her miss out. I reminded her that she told me to only use English.
I'm sorry, is getting fitted for a tux something that the bride wants to experience?
I don't get that either. I was like, who cares if she missed out on the other fittings? I don't think I even went with you for the fittings.
Not for the fittings. You went with me initially to like pick out colors and things, and then you never went into that store again, and that was fine.
But apparently this bride is upset that she did not get to witness the fittings for all the rest of the wedding party. A few days later, she posted a review saying that I was unprofessional and made her translate when I spoke fluent Spanish. I responded with my side and offered to provide a video of her telling me to speak English.
Why do you have a video?
Some stores just have video recording all the time, just for security reasons, and so they don't get sued.
A lot of those videos don't have audio, but I guess his does. I think. Do security cameras have audio?
They didn't used to, but maybe they do now. Yeah, I'm thinking of like 90s convenience store cameras, which were not high tech.
Maybe I'm in the past as well, because I imagine it's not that much harder to add audio to these videos. Are you saying they're not all black and white and like 30 frames per second anymore?
I know, like all jerky and like, I remember like dancing. Sometimes they would be like, you're on camera, and have the little TV screen of the camera view. And I would like dance in front of it and it was all jerky and funny.
Yeah, and there was like a 2-second delay.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I bet technology has surpassed that now.
Yeah, we kind of dated ourselves with that thought, didn't we?
Anyways, she removed the review when people started mocking her. She called the store and threatened to cancel the order. I agreed that might be best and said she could bring her receipt in for a full refund. The suits hadn't been altered yet, so some steam would get rid of the chalk marks, no problem. I would call the supplier and cancel the tux order as well. I even offered to refund the deposit on the tuxes.
You seem like a very reasonable business owner.
Her mother brought her in. She apologized for the way she spoke to me and said that she would like to keep the order the way it was. I accepted the apology and told her that I understood that weddings are stressful and such.
That is something that I hadn't thought about. He must have to deal with a continuous stream of bridezillas.
That doesn't sound like a fun job.
I assume there is a steady stream of wonderful customers in between all the bridezillas, so it's probably worth it, right? You're going to get the bad customers no matter what industry you're in.
But the bridezillas are really bad.
The bridezillas are bad enough that we have a term for them.
My brother, who is my partner, said I was a dick for not just talking to the old man in Spanish. So am I the asshole?
I feel like you're not the asshole, but you absolutely were doing malicious compliance. You were doing it just to get back at her. We all know that you were.
Yeah, he could have just, once he realized Grandpa didn't speak English, just quietly, started speaking to him in Spanish. And I bet that would have made Grandpa feel more comfortable, too, than having granddaughter come over and translate for them.
That's true. Grandpa probably would have appreciated that. So you did kind of drag Grandpa into a minor spat with his granddaughter there.
So do I think he was the asshole? No, he was doing exactly what she wanted. But was it good customer service? No, probably not. And when you own this business, you should probably be going for good customer service.
I guess so. Like, I fully understand malicious compliance in that setting, and I really think that just because she reacted so poorly, you're not the asshole, but it wasn't cool to drag Grandpa in, I'd say.
One of the top comments, the bride embarrassed herself and her party. To be frog marched back to apologize by your mother at her age must be mortifying. Maybe she'll be more polite in future. OP should do exactly the same in future. See, I don't know if he should do exactly the same because this bride is she tried to leave him bad reviews. That didn't go well, but she is never going to recommend your business to anyone.
I mean, everyone apologized, and even if the bride had to get frog marched in by mom, you could still take it all back to zero, I would say.
NTA, your brother is apparently oblivious to the fact that the rude young woman clearly learned a lesson by your acquiescence to her request.
Yeah, but also you got like a negative review and you had to fight her online, and then other people started trolling her. Like, it escalated a lot. And I know she was the one that kept escalating it, but you kept matching her energy, which, to be fair, once she leaves you a bad review, you gotta match her energy. You can't just let that sit there. I don't know. It does seem like maybe you could have taken the higher road a little. It sounds like I'm calling him the asshole. I really don't think he was the asshole in this situation. I just think he accidentally matched the energy of an asshole.
NTA, had you done as your brother says, she would have bitched about you speaking Spanish after she specifically ordered you to only speak English. She was looking for any excuse to get a discount by claiming the service was shitty.
Yeah, but you're the owner, so it's not like she can complain to anyone about you.
Well, she didn't know that, maybe.
It sounds like it. Maybe that was her plot. But also, maybe she was just actually having a stressed out time. I don't know. Either way, it's not cool to treat somebody in customer service like that. Be nice to people. Am I the asshole for no longer filling the car with gas before my partner has to go to work?
Yeah, you're the asshole. Keep filling my car with gas, Josh. I don't want to do it. It's cold outside right now.
Am I using this story to call you out? Maybe a little bit.
How many times have I pumped my own gas in the past year? Twice?
My partner works Sunday evenings. I don't. They tend to sleep until 15 to 30 minutes before they need to be at work. They've recently been asking me if I can fill up their car with gas before they go to work on Sundays, because they don't have time to get ready for work, get gas, and get to work on time.
Plan better.
For a while, I was doing it because it wasn't much of a bother for me. I would take their car and go to the gas station and get snacks or drinks or go to Dunkin' and get a coffee. I would also sometimes take the car while they were asleep and get gas and go to the grocery store because I had to get groceries anyways. They also didn't ask every week, just most. I've also told them they should fill up before Sunday so it isn't such a rush, or wake up early. They said they would try, but I also didn't mind doing it if I had a reason to go out.
When they said they would try, I don't believe them.
It sounds like they didn't try very hard, doesn't it?
They did not.
It snowed last night through today where we live. I had no plans to go out because I don't like driving in the snow unless I truly have to. I went to the grocery store yesterday before the snow started, and I stocked up on all my drinks and snacks so I wouldn't have to drive in the snow. I was also still in my pajamas because I was looking forward to a comfy day inside. They asked me if I could fill their car up with gas again today. I said no, I don't like driving in the snow, especially in a car that's not mine. They said it's not far to the gas station and they had to get ready for work. I repeated that I don't feel comfortable driving their car in the snow, and I don't need to go out for anything, so I won't do it. They were upset because I refused to go out and fill up their car with gas. They left for work upset and didn't even say goodbye, and later texted me that they couldn't fully finish getting ready for work and were a few minutes late to work because they had to stop to get gas.
Which is their own fault.
Am I the asshole for not filling the car with gas before my partner went to work, even though I have been doing it often in the past?
Not the asshole. I don't think it's fair to ask someone to go and get you gas when they're not even going out and leaving the house in the first place.
Really? You don't think we should be sending people out to get just gas?
You're saying that like I do that to you all the time. I've done that once when I had a migraine.
I guess that's true. You usually combo it in with grocery trips like, hey, you're going out? Why don't you take my car instead and fill it with gas?
Yeah, so I haven't had to pump gas in years because you very kindly always take my car to get groceries and fill up my gas for me while you are out. And I'm always very appreciative, aren't I?
I suppose you are. You're very appreciative, and it really doesn't bother me that much.
But this lady is like, hey, do it for me all the time when you're not even going out of the house. That seems rude.
And she's also doing it in the morning. Like, usually you do it, like, in the afternoon when I'm already dressed and stuff, whereas she's getting ready for work on a day where OP doesn't work.
Yeah, and he's in pajamas, and she's like, it's snowing. Go out in the cold snow and get me gas. That seems so rude.
Yeah, because sending him out to get gas also includes sending him out to clean the ice off your windshield and stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, she's like, can you go get me gas and scrape my car off for me and warm the car up so it's nice and toasty when I get in it?
Oh yeah, she's got OP doing all the best parts of winter driving there. Go stand in the cold and scrape ice off my windshield, warm the car up, drive over to the gas station and stand outside in the 0-degree weather while the gas pumps. And OP apparently doesn't even like driving in the snow, which, as somebody who lives in Michigan, my opinion of that is toughen up, but...
Yeah, OP needs to toughen up. Don't be a wuss. Driving in the snow isn't that bad.
It is an opinion that I've seen with drivers who live in areas that just get, like, a sporadic 1 or 2 inches of snow a couple times a year instead of, 6 inches overnight.
I mean, I guess driving in snow can be scary if you're not used to it, but it sounds like they live in a place that gets snow pretty frequently, so he needs to toughen up. But also, you should not have to go out in the snow for the sole reason of filling your girl's car up with gas.
Especially on your day off. That's when you're supposed to sleep in, not her. Top comment, why didn't they stop and fill the car with gas on their way home from work the last time they worked? It is incredibly lazy to ask your partner to fill up your car with gas so that you can sleep until the very last minute, when you had plenty of opportunities to do it yourself.
Yeah, if I am running low on gas and I know you're not like going out grocery shopping or anything anytime soon, I will fill up on the way home from work because I'm like, I know I don't have time in the morning to do it.
Yeah, and OP also suggested the same thing to his partner, but it doesn't seem to have worked. Another comment, what the heck is going on? Why don't they fill up their tanks when they see it getting low like normal people, not the asshole? OP replied to that. They use their car for work and they do delivery and drive a lot of miles. So they go through a tank every shift or two. They have to start with a full tank. The company reimburses them for gas though, so they aren't paying it out of pocket. And when I fill up their car, they pay me back ASAP.
So having a full tank of gas is part of their job? Why are you doing this for them?
So that she's on time for work because it's cold and it sucks out there.
Okay, but like she's just filling up whenever she feels like it and charging the company for it. Are they paying for her to like drive home after her shift too? Because if not, she should be filling up at the beginning of her shift and at the end of her shift, and that's what the company pays for.
Yeah, if you have to drive for work, I almost feel like you should be filling up your gas tank on company time.
Yeah, that's another good point.
So somebody asked a similar question that OP replied to. Why isn't your partner getting gas on their way home from work if they know there's not enough to get to work the next day? OP replied, they say they are tired after work, which I get. I feel that way sometimes as well. But I make sure I wake up early enough to get ready, get gas, and then go to work on time.
That's because OP is responsible and his girlfriend is not.
Not the asshole. My partner often makes me tea in the mornings, and I cherish it when they do it, but I don't expect it, especially if there's an obvious reason why they didn't do it. It's a caring gesture, not a chore. Your situation is the same. They are acting entitled and not valuing you. OP replied to that, that's how I feel. I love doing things for my partner to make them feel loved, and I've said time and time again, I do them to show love and because I have energy and I don't want these acts to become expected. They've always followed that where I do things often, and if I don't, it's no biggie because it's not expected, except for this. But Reddit's pretty unanimous in their judgment here, not the asshole. And OP should not have to go out into the cold on his day off.
Am I the asshole for not using gift cards on the person who gifted them?
If you use the gift cards on the person that gifted them, doesn't that just mean they asked you to do their shopping for them?
My mother-in-law gave us and our kids gift cards for the December holidays. Mainly restaurants for smaller amounts of money between $25 and $50. The other day, she texted my husband and I saying, shall we go out today and use one of the gift cards? Confused, I said, what gift cards do you have? She replied, the ones she gave us, and she didn't have them with her since I took them all with me.
Oh, so she wanted to be part of the experience that she gifted you.
I replied that I didn't know I wasn't supposed to take them with me, as they're a gift. She still insists that whenever we use them, we take her with us. I think it's ridiculous, and my husband has stayed quiet. I've been low contact with her for about a year, so with the amounts barely covering one person if we went out, it's likely a way to force her way into still seeing us.
Hold on, so the gift cards aren't even worth enough money to take you all out? It's just, like, covers her portion of the tab?
She said a lot of the gift cards were for $25 to $50. And yet $25 is one meal.
Yeah, unless they're gift cards to, like, a fast food restaurant, $25 is how much you're going to spend at a sit-down place.
Even fast food nowadays, $25 is two people.
That's true. When we hit the drive-thru, it is like $20, isn't it?
Am I the asshole for wanting to use the gift cards and not have stipulations tied to them?
No, you're not the asshole. Those weren't presents, it sounds like.
They were an obligation to go to dinner with her.
Yeah, it sounds like they were almost a trap. Like, now that you have these gift cards, you have to take me out to dinner.
Top comment, I would say, I'm sorry, I thought they were a gift. I didn't realize I was holding on to them for you as a favor to you. I would then promptly return them to her and resume minimal contact.
I honestly would have just said, oh, I'm sorry, I already spent them. I didn't realize we were supposed to bring you along.
Someone else agrees. Just say, sorry, we've already used them. Thank you for the thoughtful gift.
Yeah, it was a lovely evening. Just kill her with kindness here.
NTA, once a gift is given, the giver does not get to dictate how the gift is used.
No, you can't have surprise conditions happen later. This is like somebody buying you a lottery ticket for a gift and then asking for half of the winnings. It just feels kind of trashy.
NTA, but the true problem here is, my husband stays silent. Yeah, that BS would not fly with me. And OP replies, oh, it's not going to fly with him acting silent. I just need to make sure that I'm not out of line before I essentially tell him this is the last straw and to marry his mother.
Damn. This situation extends further than I thought it did initially. I thought it was going to be like, hey, get your mom under control. Not, why don't you just marry her if you like her so much?
It sounds like this might not be the only issue she has with her mother-in-law, which is why she was low contact with her before.
Yeah, I figured there were other things.
But not only is it a mother-in-law problem, it's a husband problem because he's a mama's boy.
Because he won't set boundaries, right?
Another comment, NTA, your mother-in-law is manipulative and that is tacky. Your husband needs to deal with her and I would just block her at this point. Yes, tacky. That's what it is. It's tacky.
Yeah, tacky, trashy, irksome. It's definitely all those things. And these are the types of things that husband should be telling her when he has a talk with her about boundaries.
Someone else says, so a $25 gift card could just about cover mother-in-law's meal. How is that then a gift to you or your kids? OP replies, right? That part puzzled me so much. Like she's kind of paying her own way, but that negates any value or intent of the gift. And someone replied, the gift is her presence at the meal.
It does kind of sound like that, doesn't it? She essentially gave you a coupon that says, I will deign to join you for one meal.
NTA, your mother-in-law is a master manipulator. She didn't give you gifts, she gave you obligations. Just tell her you've used them already and point out that the next time she should not give gifts that come with expectations. That's not a gift. And then I love this, but the Reddit thread underneath that says we need to come up with a name for this. And they've decided that Obli-gifting is what this shall be called.
I kind of love that term. I feel like that is a word that I would start using. I do have a follow-up question. Is mother-in-law sticking to $25 when she orders food? Is she giving you a $25 gift card, then turning up and ordering like $40 worth of food?
I don't know, but I wouldn't put it past her.
Yeah, if somebody is obli-gifting you, all bets are off.
So yeah, not the asshole, and your mother-in-law is a manipulative old obli-gifter.
Am I the asshole for making my wife ride in the back seat because she couldn't stop distracting me?
What was she doing? What was so distracting? Was she trying to show you TikToks while you were driving?
This happened over the holidays, and my wife is still upset with me over it. Our family went to visit my in-laws for New Year's. It's about a 3 to 4 hour drive. Mostly highway, but it takes us through 2 metro areas with pretty significant traffic. My wife, 37 female, gets nervous about driving in traffic, so I always drive when we visit our family. She also tends to get car sick on longer drives and needs to sit in the front seat to help ease it. She has tried Dramamine in the past, but she's had an allergic reaction to it, so she doesn't take it anymore.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that is a rough combo to have, isn't it?
Yeah, car sick and allergic to Dramamine.
There must be other medications for it, but Dramamine works for me, so I've never found them.
I've never even heard of any other ones.
I love my wife with all my heart, but she is not good sitting shotgun.
Oh, no.
She makes huge reactions to any change in traffic. grabbing the handle, putting her hand on the dash, gasping, telling me to watch out, etc. It's not like I'm an aggressive or risky driver. I've never gotten a speeding ticket or been in an accident.
I fear sometimes I am guilty of this, but I really try not to be. But you always hit the brake just like 2 or 3 seconds after I would start hitting the brakes. I'm like,
no, you're like, oh! You make little squeaks.
It's scary, okay?
But if there's a car half a mile ahead of us that puts on their brakes, she freaks out and acts like we're all about to die. It's incredibly distracting.
I'm so sorry. I feel like you're really picking on me today.
I've talked to her multiple times about how her reactions actually make it more difficult for me to concentrate on driving, but she says she can't control herself because she's nervous in traffic. On the way to her family's place, she sat up front with me and traffic was pretty bad. Lots of slowdowns due to weather conditions and in general just kind of slow going. But I've been driving in cold weather my whole life and know how to control my speed and give lots of extra space to any surrounding cars. I understand that you can't control anyone else on the road and that accidents happen, but I do everything in my control to keep my car and the people inside safe. The entire drive, my wife was on edge making all the reactions I mentioned. It's very distracting to have someone next to you do that sort of thing while driving. I mentioned this to my wife numerous times on the drive, and she always deflected blame at me for the way I was driving.
Well, if you weren't such a maniac driver, I wouldn't be screaming, okay?
I don't think you're as bad as this woman, by the way.
Okay. I usually limit myself to 1 or 2 squeals per drive, you know?
You control yourself very well. It's just the times when somebody suddenly slams on their brakes in front of us and I hit the brake literally like half a second slower than you want me to.
Oh, the other one is where I'm playing on my phone and you suddenly slam on the brakes and I didn't know that was going to occur.
I always feel kind of bad when I do that to you because you do get taken way off guard. You're completely zoned out. When we were getting ready to head home, I told my wife she needed to sit in the back and our 14-year-old son will sit up front with me. I told her it's either that or she drives us home. She got upset with me and started giving excuses about her car sickness. I told her to take some NyQuil or something else to help her sleep, but she refused and told me I'm being a jerk.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, this lady just needs to sleep through the drive. I really feel like that is the solution that would make everybody happier.
Yeah, she needs to be like one of those people that takes a sleeping pill before they get on an airplane. I told her that she can drive then, and she refused that too. Eventually, she reluctantly got in the back seat with our 11-year-old daughter. The ride home was much easier traffic-wise, and my wife sat pretty much silent in the back seat the entire time, pouting. When we got home, she told me that she felt ill the entire drive, but didn't say anything because she didn't want to make a big deal out of anything.
Why didn't she feel that way about her screamings and squealings on the drive? She should have not made a big deal about his driving.
She told me I humiliated her by making her sit in the back, and that I should be more considerate of her feelings.
Oh no, you humiliated her in front of her son.
Son is aware of mom's antics.
Right? I was like, it's just family in the car. Who are you embarrassing her in front of?
So, are they the asshole?
OP is not the asshole. That would be super annoying to drive next to someone who is constantly doing that. He told her she needed to sit in the back seat so she wasn't distracting and offered her like some solutions for her car sickness. And she's like, I don't want to. I'll just sit back here and be pouty and miserable and blame you the entire time for my misery. That's very childish.
Yeah, because it also sounds like he's tried to just tell her, stop.
Just chill out. I got it. I'm a good driver.
Yeah, they've been married long enough that she should have some idea about it, right?
They got a 14-year-old son, so they've been together a long time. She should have gotten used to his driving by now.
Yeah, because OP didn't mention any like record of crashes and stuff, and he said he's a pretty safe driver. I have to believe him, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know why she's still reacting like this. She needs to just, like you said, distract herself with her phone, but maybe that gives her motion sickness.
Yeah, it does. I know using your phone is more likely to give you motion sickness, especially in that stop and go traffic. I'm not especially prone to car sickness, and like I can usually like read in the car and stuff, but when there's stop and go traffic, nope.
Because yeah, I feel for wife. I also get motion sick if I'm sitting in the back. But she sounds awful in the front, so it's more a question of who gets the comfort, her or you.
There are responsibilities to being the passenger princess, okay? You got to make the drive as easy as possible for the driver if you are in that shotgun seat.
That's true. She's supposed to be like navigating and things.
And handing out the snacks and controlling the radio and picking music that the driver likes.
Not screaming and clutching the oh crap handle and like putting her feet up on the dash and recoiling.
So I think OP's not the asshole, but what does Reddit think?
Reddit agrees with you, not the asshole. One of the top comments, not the asshole. She just proved that she can control herself. It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, she's in the back seat and she's not screaming, she's pouting.
Yeah, she could just be pouting in the front seat from now on, and then everyone's kind of happy.
Maybe you let her sit in the front seat and you just get her one of those sleep masks. And she can stay awake the whole time. She doesn't have to sleep. She just can't see.
Oh, that would make it so much worse, Kristie.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, no, you need to be able to see when you have motion sickness like that.
I feel sometimes closing your eyes makes it better.
Sometimes, but it really depends on a lot of factors. I feel like it always helps me to kind of look at the horizon so that I have a stable view. Blackness can make it worse sometimes.
I just go to sleep.
Somebody has a similar comment to you, though. It is a lot harder to see the traffic in front of the car from the back seat. Plus, if she was feeling carsick, she was probably spending a fair amount of her attention on not throwing up. I'm not excusing her actions when she is in the front seat at all. She needs to find a better way of coping. Side note, OP, ginger helps my car sickness more than about anything else. Ginger pills, or if she likes it, candied ginger.
Everybody says ginger ale's good for when you're nauseous.
That's true. I can't stand the taste of ginger ale, but I would be willing to try the other methods. You need to point out to your wife that she is actually putting everyone in the car in danger when she sits in the front seat because she cannot control her reactions to traffic. You need to point out to her that the safety of your family is more important than her feelings. Your family is safer when she is sitting in the back seat. I'm saying this as someone who has exactly the same problem that your wife has when there is traffic. It literally terrifies me if I am the passenger. I either have to be the one driving the car or I have to be sitting in the back seat with my nose in a book or using my phone to surf the net. Because I agree with that. It can be super distracting if somebody makes a noise beside you and then suddenly you're wondering why they're making a noise instead of paying attention to traffic.
Yeah, you're like, I was driving just fine. There's nothing to scream about. Did they see something I don't that I should be worried about? Why are they screaming? Is a car about to hit me? And then you're even more distracted trying to figure out what is making them scream.
Yeah, like if I hear a squeak of worry, it makes me wonder if I should be slamming on the brakes. Like, because you see something I don't. Like, maybe you see a deer. That's always my first instinct whenever any of the passengers that I've had go like, I'm like, oh no, there's a deer, because they jump out in front of you.
And that's why when I see a deer, I don't squeak in. I go, deer!
Yeah.
Deer!
Yeah, that just means hit the brakes, slow down a little, because that thing's going to charge in front of you if it sees a chance. All deer have a death wish.
They really do.
But yeah, you're not the asshole, OP, and wife really needs to find a way to distract herself from traffic.
All right, that's our last story for this episode of Josh and Kristie Stealing the Internet.
Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.